webinar, we'll be focusing on discussion forum tools. I want to start with a basic understanding of what Web 2.0 is so that everybody is on the same page. Here is a list of characteristics of what Web 2.0 looks like according to O'Reilly in 2005. And among the characteristics that I think are related to what we'll be talking about today with discussion forum tools is this idea of collective intelligence, which is the second characteristic listed by Tim O'Reilly. The idea is that collective intelligence is referring to the wisdom of the crowd or crowdsourcing. If you can think of Wikipedia as an example where it relies on millions of people contributing content to make it what it is. And the idea of a discussion forum is it's a much more smaller scale, but the way a discussion forum works is that you have multiple people in a community contributing to the contributing content to the same system, and as a result everybody will learn and benefit as a result. So this idea of collective intelligence is really what today's tool will hopefully emphasize. I want to also discuss a couple things about the Web 2.0 learning and how that impacts, sort of how that has impact using the discussion forum tools. A couple of things I'll highlight would be the second feature, which is the idea that it centers around learners. Web 2.0 tools really do put students at the center of the learning experience, and then more than that, it fosters social interactions among those who are participating. Students are able to explore, share, engage, and connect with other people in a meaningful way beyond sort of the classroom context. Also, of related interests to the discussion forum tool is this idea of that it encourages participation. People who are part of a discussion forum oftentimes participate, engage in a course more than they would otherwise. And then the discussion forum tool also focuses on higher order skills, skills such as analyzing, summarizing, evaluating, creating, things that is sort of required in a discussion forum context. And finally, I think the last characteristic of Web 2.0 learning that is related to discussion forum tools is the idea that it accommodates varying modes of learning. Students who may feel uncomfortable speaking in public in a classroom setting may actually find the online forum much easier and much more conducive to sort of their communication style. So those are sort of some of the key features of discussion forum tools and how it sort of facilitates Web 2.0 learning. Let me now turn our attention to discussion forum tools and just get a big overview, and then I will dive into the three tools that we'll be focusing on today. So what is a discussion forum tool? Essentially, a discussion forum tool, also known as discussion board, bulletin board, or electronic bulletin board, is an asynchronous communication tool that allows individuals to post and comment or question online. And other individuals who are members of the same discussion board may read the comments and questions and respond with their own remarks over time. So this idea that there's a post and then there's a response, and then together those things create threads, and the forum is sort of formed that way. The question is, why should I use it in my course? How is it going to help my students? And I listed here just a number of advantages that using discussion board may prove helpful for your class. The first is that it does extend the time allotted for discussion beyond regular class time to allow for reflection, in-depth reflection outside of class. Second, that it requires students to really move beyond listening to something like a lecture to starting to think, engage, and to articulate their response or their arguments around the issue that you're discussing in class. So it does facilitate sort of the higher order thinking skills that I was talking about earlier. And third, it allows students to participate and to join in the conversation rather than just being sort of an observer. They are able to really engage with the whole community as opposed to just one or two students that they would get in the classroom. And fourth, the discussion tool provides an outlet for students to pose their questions and receive feedback, not only from the instructor, but also from their peers in the course, because the discussion board does really facilitate the communication of the whole of the community of the class. It does enable students to be able to not just engage between faculty and students, but among students as well, which is a very important element of discussion boards. Fifth, that it does allow students to reference and bring external sources of information into the conversation. They can cite websites in their discussion posts. They can point to resources. They can do things that may not be as easy to do in a class setting because they're engaging at time of discussion. They don't really have time to go out and explore or research or do work to bring into the conversation. But when they're doing this online, they're able to do that very easily, just even by linking a web page in their post. Six is that it allows for a storage of an archive of the conversation for use by just for grading purposes if you're an instructor, or for students to be able to refer back to things as the course progresses. And I think it's really a rich repository of the conversation that goes on in a class. And then finally, I think discussion forum is a good supplement to office hours because it really does help reduce any redundancies in terms of questions that are asked. Students oftentimes ask the same questions to this instructor, but because they didn't talk to each other, they end up having to ask, all the students that you see in office hours may ask the same question over and over and over. And by having a discussion forum, if there's a common question that keeps coming up in office hours, you can add that to the forum, and as a result, students are able to look to the discussion forum first before they go to you in office hours to ask about whatever it is that they're asking. And it really is a better method than just emailing back and forth responses between you and your students. So that's sort of an overview of discussion forum tools. I'm going to quickly now dive into each of the 3 tools that we'll be talking about, and then we will then turn to the demonstration of these tools really quickly. So the first tool I'll be featuring today is the CROPS discussion forum, and this is built right into our CROPS instance on campus. It's our learning management system, and some of the key features I'll point out in our demo are sort of the forums, the topics, breadcrumb trail, and the grade feature. And these links here provide more additional resources for you to explore on your own. The second tool I'll be demoing today is a tool called Talkie, and it's TAL.KI. And what it is really it's an embeddable forum, and I will show you how quickly it is to create an embeddable forum that you can just plop right into your course site and be able to start using it. And it requires no registration whatsoever because it pulls on a lot of the social network accounts that your students already have, and you really don't have to have a separate account to create a Talkie embeddable forum. And then finally, the third tool that I'll be demoing is called Piazza. And Piazza is really a fairly new tool, but it is a really robust tool for real-time discussion, and students and instructors are able to communicate and learn from each other. But more so, it's really meant for instructors to kind of guide the discussion of a course by posing either responses or questions, and then students can then respond to each other, and then there's a like button, kind of like how Facebook is. If there's an answer that people really like, they can like it, or if they find a response very helpful, they can elevate it. And so we'll look at some of those features within Piazza as well. So let me now turn to the desktop view, and then you can then see what these tools look like and how they can be used in your course. So I'm going to now share my desktop, and you should be able to see my CROPS instance right now. So I am now in my CROPS test course site. It's just a demo site that I use to feature some of these tools. I'm now using the discussion forum tool, and you can see it on my left-hand side here, discussion forum tool. And first first thing you'll notice is that this idea of different forms that are listed here. So the question is a form, and essentially a forum is a place where it contains one or more topics of discussion. And within the forum itself, I'll click on the question forum, you will have a list of topics. And topics are essentially sort of things that you want to, like within the question forum, you can have things like office hours, what I have here. You can have another for questions about the assignments or syllabus or however way you want to organize it. And most discussion forum tool, including this one, has what they call a breadcrumb trail, and you can see this is where you can see where I'm at. I'm under the discussion lists, and then category, and then this is the form, which is the question, and now I'm in the actual I guess topic of the office hours, and you can see sort of the breadcrumb trail that you can go between. And here is a typical kind of threaded discussion that you'll see. You have, since I don't really have a student account, I'm assuming the role of both the student and the instructor. And you can see in my first posting here is, for me as an instructor, hello, I would like to let you know that my office hour for the semester is Monday, Wednesday, 12 to 1 p.m. Please feel free to swing by if you have any questions about class. And then the second entry is supposed to be a student responding, and it basically says, I can't make it to my office hours, but I have class during that time. And then response to that would be from me, and says, no worries, just let me know what you like, and we can go from like to me, and we can go from there. So you can kind of see this is a nice threaded discussion that allows for instructors and students to communicate back and forth without having to worry about emailing things. There's also a nice feature here that I want to point out, which is the grading feature. So let me go back to the question level, and I will create a new topic. So let's say I'm going to create a new topic about homework set, and this could be a forum that discusses this forum will be for questions regarding homework set. And on the bottom, so once you submit this, let me see here, it will create this forum. So you can see here I have now an office hour forum and now a homework set forum. As I was mentioning earlier, one of the things that you can do is add a grade feature to this element. And the way you do that is by going to the manage option here, and then you'll see a list of categories, which is sort of the main, the main and other are the two categories, and you can edit certain category that you've already created by saying whether or not you want it to enable the grading for this. And here's where you can add. Let me see. Actually, let me go back, and I'm going to change it to a different category. It's going to be. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to do 100 points, and then I'm going to do this as a send to gradebook. Oh, I'm not able to do this for now because I should have created the category here. But the idea is that you can actually add a grading component to this discussion forum as a way to allow for sort of a grading. So let me add a new forum and see, oops, so that you can see what that is like. New forum. Yes, and then 100 points. And now we'll send that update. And there's my new forum. And then if you want to, you can double check. So here's my new forum. For some reason it is not showing up. But regardless, I want to keep moving. But the idea is you can create a discussion forum that allows you for a grading. Oh, there it is. There's a grade forum that was created. And basically what that does is allows individual contributors of a forum to be graded and then you can also leave comments, and that can be an important element of your course grade or course requirement. So that's the discussion tool within CROPS. Let me now move to Talkie, which is an embeddable discussion forum. And here is the page. So you just go to tal.ki on your browser, and it'll take you to this page. And the way you can get quickly get a embeddable form is just by wanting to sign on. And here you can see I basically signed on with my Google account, or you can sign on with your Facebook account or your Drupal account or whatever other sites you may have that is available. And it took me basically to this embeddable code, and I just copy this. And then the way I can quickly, because I don't need to, if I have a blog, I can put it there. If my course website, I can put it there, or you can put it in your CROPS site. So I'm under resources, and one of the things that you can do in the resources is to create a new HTML page. And so I'm going to go ahead and add the code I need to click on source, paste that code, go to continue, and then I'm going to put in Talkie forum 2 because I created one before. I'm going to finish it off, and what now you see is this discussion forum 1 and 2 that's basically created. And you can see it's a very easy simple kind of forum, and when you sign in, the first person to sign into this embeddable forum becomes the administrator. So let me show you what it looks like once it is used. So here is another form I embedded earlier, and you can see that I have two forums here. One is about class and the other is off topic. And so within the class, you see that I have two posts, two topics that I want my students to respond to. The first is about personal introduction, and as students sign in, their avatar will get pulled in from whatever account they're using to sign in, whether it's a Facebook or Twitter or the WordPress or whatever, and whatever they put will be under here, and then people can actually like it and share it. So it's a nice, there are some nice social networking features that they can share as they post. And so and you can reply, and it's the same idea that it's a threaded discussion. And then on the bottom here is also an option to get an email notification every time a particular topic, there's a reply to a topic. And the idea is that as the conversation evolves, and let's say there's a particular conversation the student is interested in following, they can just check this, and then as things happen, every time a new post or reply happens, they will get email notifications. So as a way to keep up with the discussion. So as you can see, it's a fairly simple, easy to use tool, and it shows you some examples here of how you can quickly copy the code, paste the code, and then add it to your website or login. And that's essentially what I did. And so that's Talkie. Now let me turn our attention to Piazza. So Piazza is a free online gathering place, if you will, where students can come together to ask questions, to answer questions, and explore things under the guidance of an instructor. Within Piazza, instructors can easily answer questions, edit content, and track student participation. Students and instructors, including TAs, can connect by posting and replying to questions and notes in real time. And you can even see when fellow students are actually replying to a question or editing an answer in real time. So it's kind of like sometimes on Facebook, as you're there's a status where if someone's online at the same time, you can actually communicate with them, or you can see what they're doing while they're on. And this is sort of the idea that it's a real-time interaction platform. So let me show you how it works. So I have this course created for CRTE 101, and you can see that on the left-hand side is a panel of sort of a chronology of different weeks that occurred, and within that week, what are the postings and what are the responses. And on the right-hand side is sort of the window where you can zoom in on particular threaded discussions and see what happened, and just by clicking on the discussion on the left, you'll see on the right a more sort of a zoom in version of it. And the way to so a couple of things I want to sort of show you here. Is a new, if you want to do a new post, it's very, very simple. You just add the name of the new post that you want. So I can have anyone want to work together on assignment 3, and then I can then do a new post. So there, I put the question there, and then it created a new post. And within this, I can tag it. So things like, this is a homework, this is collaboration, and this is also about writing 1 or something. So you can tag it however way you want, or there are some popular tags as you work through this. It'll keep a record of what you've used as a past, and you can keep adding that. You can make this posting private if you want, or you can make it available to the entire class. So I'm going to make it available to the entire class, and I'm going to go ahead and post a question. Your post has no tags. Oh, I guess I need to have a hashtag in front of those keywords to take it. All right. All right, there it is. So hopefully that will work. Okay, so I created basically a new topic, a new form with a topic, anyone work together, and you can see here it's the first thing under the today part of the chronology. And then as an instructor, I can say something like, I want you to work together, but make sure that all members of the group are contributing equally, or something like that. So as a way to kind of make sure that all the group members in the group working together are actually contributing, as opposed to just 1 or 2 members. And so I can add that as a comment. And if someone, let's say one of my TAs made that comment, what I can come in and do is actually do a good answer and just click on that. And when that is clicked, then it has a little message saying that an instructor endorsed this instructor's response. So the idea is that as an instructor, you actually have the authority to elevate particular responses or replies or posts in a way that allows your students to pay attention to that, as opposed to just any regular posting by anybody. So it's sort of a nice feature for endorsing or to elevating certain thing. You can also follow a particular topic discussion. So if you want to start following, I think by default it will follow, but you can stop following it by clicking that, and then it won't send you any email notification. But if you click on the follow, then it will keep sending you, every time there's a follow-up to this discussion, you will get a new email notification. So there are also other features within here that I think are really neat. For example, one of the things that you can do is attach files. So something that I think a lot of discussion forums can't do is attaching files. So I can, for example, I'm going to go and attach a picture, a sample picture of, I don't know, a flower or something here, and this would then become part of the threaded discussion. So here's my upload, and you can see that file is right there. It's linked, and so if I'm working on an assignment and I want it to be part of my posting here, I can attach the file and it automatically will appear as part of that. I can also, if I want to, embed this image in line in my response. And what this does is it will just allow me to put it in the actual post itself. So let me see if I can do this real quick. Copy this, and here's my follow-up, and see if it will take it. Yep, there it is. So it allows me to do the actual image in line, and you can see my image embedded as part of a post. So that's a very neat feature to do with this. And the other thing that Piazza supports is this idea of a latex expression for use with mathematical formulas and the like. And the idea here is you can do things like, I'm going to click on the format helping. The latex basically are things that you can create formulas or whatever. So here's a table of all the things you can create just using regular keyboard strokes. And as you work through this, you'll get more students who are in math are more adept at doing this. But the idea is you can use regular keystrokes, and then that will then be able to give you the ability to write mathematical formulas. So let me just copy this code really quick, and then I'll show you how this works. Oops, I think I didn't do this correctly, but I think I'm missing a $sign at the beginning there. Okay, there it is. So I was able to create a table by using the LaTeX script, and that basically allowed, once I put in the script, it automatically converted to the table. And you can do this with infinity signs, you can do function signs, and different mathematical symbols and so on. And one last thing I want to point out about Piazza is that it allows for mobile. They have a mobile app for both the iOS as well as for the Android device. So one of the things that I think a lot of students nowadays are relying more and more is their Android devices, because, or not just Android iPhone devices or tablets or the iPads, and because they want to be able to access the course material anytime, anywhere. And the fact that there's an app for Piazza enables them to be able to access this course throughout their day without having to worry about logging into the website and being able to contribute only when they're in a computer, but they can then do this on their smart devices or tablets. So so that's it in terms of the demo. Let me now go back to my slide set here, and I will then conclude by pointing out a couple of resources. If you want to learn more about discussion forum tools, there are two sites I found very useful. One is by Virginia Tech, and they have a discussion forum guide that goes through some of the basics of what you can do with discussion forum. And then EDUCAUSE, which is a technology organization, EdTech for higher ed organization, they have a discussion board book, which is a very extensive manual for how to incorporate discussion forums into your course and your curriculum, and how to use it, and best practices and so on. And then in general, if you want to learn more about this directory of Web 2.0 tools, you can go to a couple of websites I've listed here. And then finally, if you want EDUCAUSE resources on Web 2.0 and 21st century learning, there are two sites I've listed here on the bottom. And then finally, I'm also available for consultation beyond this webinar, of course. You can email me at mtrong@ucmerced.edu, and I'll be more than happy to schedule a time, and we can then talk and figure out how you can use discussion forums or any Web 2.0 tools or any instructional technology tools that you may be considering. So that's it for me.